Today, a Manhattan Supreme Court jury announced a verdict in a case involving the Trump Organization. Two subsidiaries of the Trump Organization were convicted of multiple crimes: tax fraud, falsifying business records, and conspiracy. The verdict came following a trial in New York City. More importantly, the convictions come just after former President Donald Trump declared his candidacy for the White House in the 2024 election. The case related to a particular scheme created and executed by his company since 2005. The scheme enabled tax avoidance on compensation to then Chief Financial Officer Allen Weisselberg and other executives. The Trump Organization could be fined as much as $1.6 million at sentencing. Back in August, the FBI seized more than 300 classified documents in its raid on former President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort 2 weeks ago. The Justice Department says that these 300 classified documents explain the urgency of the FBI raid of Mar-a-Lago. Former President Trump reportedly transferred the classified documents in a rush to vacate the White House following the January 6 Capitol riot. Half of the classified documents were discovered by the National Archives in January. This prompted the Justice Department to order the FBI raid of Mar-a-Lago. The Justice Department launched a federal criminal investigation into the former president. What does it mean for former President Trump? What does it mean for the Republican Party? What does it mean for the 2024 presidential election? And, what does it mean for the future of the United States? But, before we get into all of that, please hit the like button and leave us a comment below. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you are notified of upcoming videos. Two subsidiaries of the Trump Organization were convicted Tuesday by a New York City jury convicted the Trump Organization of multiple crimes: tax fraud, falsifying business records, and conspiracy. The guilty verdicts came on all 17 charged counts. This verdict came just weeks after former President Donald Trump announced his candidacy for the White House in the 2024 election. Former President Donald Trump was not personally a defendant in the case. The Trump Organization used a scheme to avoid taxes, specifically on compensation in the form of executive perks. These included free apartments and luxury cars. One recipient was former CFO Allen Weisselberg. But Trump knew exactly what was going on, said one prosecutor. Former CFO Weisselberg actually gave testimony during the trial. Jury deliberations took a little more than 2 days. Defense lawyers had argued that Weisselberg was solely responsible for the scheme, and that the Trump Organization itself was not at fault. Weisselberg had actually earlier pleaded guilty to 15 felony charges. The Trump Organization could be fined of up to $1.6 million at sentencing in the case. The guilty verdicts might also negatively impact the ability of the Trump Organization to secure loans. Since it is a real estate company, the Trump Organization needs loans for its various real estate holdings. There is still a pending civil lawsuit against Trump, 3 of his adult children, and the Trump Organization. In one case, widespread fraud is alleged by New York Attorney General Letitia James. The alleged fraud involved years of false financial statements from the Trump Organization. Attorney General Letitia James is seeking over $250 million in damages in that case. The Trump Corporation was convicted of 9 counts. The Trump Corporation is different than the Trump Organization. The Trump Corporation is a subsidiary of the Trump Organization. The Trump Payroll Corporation was convicted of 7 counts. The Trump Payroll Corporation is another subsidiary of the Trump Organization. Trump made a post on his Truth Social account on Tuesday before the verdicts were announced. Former President Donald Trump blasted Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg. He also falsely described the crime rate in his native New York City. Trump said, "Murder and violent crime is at an all-time high in NYC, which is not true." Trump also said, "The DA's office has spent almost all of its time and money fighting a political witch hunt for DC." Former President Trump wrote all of this in a post on his Truth Social account. Former President Trump is the focus of multiple criminal probes. If you recall from August, there are federal investigations into Trump's removal of government documents from the White House. And, also, Trump's efforts to reverse the outcome of his 2020 election loss to President Joe Biden. A state grand jury in Georgia is investigating Trump's efforts to get election officials there to reverse his election loss. If you recall from August, the Justice Department reported that United States law enforcement authorities seized 300 classified files in its raid of Mar-a-Lago. The FBI report comes after Trump's attorneys asked a federal judge to stay the FBI review of the documents found in raid of Mar-a-Lago. Lawyers for Trump also asked a federal judge to appoint a special to review and rescind government access to documents that Trump claims have executive branch privilege. Executive branch privilege is a policy that allows presidents to block the publication of certain documents. The request has been included in a federal lawsuit by Trump. This is the first lawsuit by Trump's legal team in 2 weeks since the raid. More lawsuits are expected from Trump's attorneys. Mar-a-Lago is former President Donald Trump's resort and personal residence since leaving the White House. The number of classified files found at Mar-a-Lago was absolutely stunning, the report stated. The sheer volume of classified documents explains why the Justice Department authorized the FBI raid in August. Immediately following the raid, Trump said that he and his attorneys were cooperating with the FBI investigation. But, today's report said that Trump managed the files in a cavalier way and is no longer cooperating with the investigation. The 15 boxes, which were given to the National Archives earlier this year. This set of documents contained CIA, FBI and National Security Agency documents related to national security, according to a source informed by the New York Times. 3 days after the FBI searched Mar-a-Lago, The Washington Post reported that some of the documents found in the search related to nuclear weapons. The Times also reported on Monday that ahead of the August 8 raid, authorities were searching security footage of Mar-a-Lago to find out how some documents were being handled there. An unsealed warrant, released days after the search, revealed that federal authorities were investigating Trump for possible violations of the Espionage Act, among other things. Records of the raid revealed that the FBI shows seized 11 sets of classified documents, some of which were marked top secret. As president, Trump called Mar-a-Lago the Winter White House. And he used it as if it were an actual government building. The arrest warrant shows that the Justice Department is investigating Trump for possible crimes of espionage and obstruction of justice. Convictions under these laws may result in fines or imprisonment. One law related to the removal or destruction of public records provides the penalty of disqualification from office in the United States. When he was president, Trump often shared information, even if it was sensitive. He sometimes spontaneously gave highly classified information to Russia's foreign minister about an Islamic State operation that was planned. This included information about U.S. defense and a reference to the French president. The government's motive for the shocking raid, believed to be the first search of the former president's home. Despite his election loss in the 2020 presidential election, Donald Trump remains extremely popular among Republicans. Trump is widely expected to run for president again in 2024. Republican lawmakers are furious over the raid. They are not sure whether they should blame federal law enforcement officials. The exact documents recovered from Mar-a-Lago have not been released. Despite his strong political support, Donald Trump is expected to have competition for the Republican nomination. Trump is still loved by his political base. But the recent FBI raid has political implications for the upcoming November election. The raid, which was authorized by Attorney General Merrick Garland, definitely raises the political stakes. The entire House of Representatives and 1/3 of the Senate are up for election. The Senate is currently divided evenly between Republicans and Democrats. It is widely expected that Republicans will win control of both the Senate and the House of Representatives in November. Still, the fact that this extraordinary raid happened at all actually speaks volumes about Trump and the animosity between him and the current Biden administration. The Trump administration took a different strategy than did previous administrations in the area of foreign relations. In particular, President Trump had a decidedly different relationship with Russian President Vladimir Putin than his predecessor, President Barack Obama. Trump also established a much closer relationship with Saudi leader Mohammed bin Salman. Also, in a break with past tradition, President Trump also met twice with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. In other bold foreign relations moves, President Trump imposed punishing trade tariffs on China for the first time in decades. This is seen as an effort to bring manufacturing jobs back to the United States. Many Democrats suspect that Trump used relationships with foreign heads of state for personal financial gain. But, what do you think? Please hit the like button and leave us a comment below. We would love to hear from you. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you are notified of upcoming videos. Please share this video on social media. Thank you for watching.